Hey, it's good to see you. Tonight, I wanted to do an updated bookshelf tour. I was thinking maybe we could do this once a year. Might make for a fun series. And regardless, my bookshelf has changed quite a bit since last year, so I'll put the link to last year's video down below, if you're interested. And yeah, let's just get into it. So this is like a little bit of a reading nook. Here's a chair. Here is Debbie from the movie Trolls World Tour. We have a candle, a pepperomia here. It's doing really well. And some tarot cards, and then a fossilized stone, a Petoskey stone from Michigan. My grandma volunteered in a museum in Michigan and would make kits for kids to polish their own Petoskey stones. Each one of those little shapes is a fossil. So this is my bookshelf. I'll just give you a quick overview and then we'll get into it. This shelf, like the shelf itself, is from CB2, the kind of like hip cousin to Crate and Barrel. We have some honeycomb lines here that were here when I moved in. So this top shelf is like my current absolute favorites. Cannot touch them. Flawless. Not even flawless. I don't want to say flawless because it's not about them being perfect per se. Just like books that I am properly obsessed with. So we have Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. The Copenhagen Trilogy by Tove Ditlevsen. These are both in translation from the Polish, and I believe she was a Danish poet, I want to say. Then we have Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. If you've watched my favorite books of all time video, then you'll know this one I bought used, and I hated the dust jacket, but then I took it off and it was this beautiful edition. So I really like it a lot. It was a pleasant surprise. Then we have Second Place by Rachel Cusk, Milkman by Anna Burns, Elif Batuman's The Idiot. I hope my camera skills aren't making you dizzy. I will get better. Pond by Claire Louise Bennett. I had an edition of this a while ago that got lost in the mail, and then Amina Kane was talking about it in her book, and it made me want to reread it. So I bought a used copy of it. The cover is so gorgeous. The copy, unbeknownst to me, was a former library book, but I took off the plastic and the only thing that remains is this stamp on top, which isn't ideal, but also I'm not that upset about it because it was only $5. Gonna pull Giovanni's Room back out here. Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Cold Enough for Snow by Jessica All. My Heart Hemmed In by Marina Dye. Ontology of the Accident by Catherine Malibu. A Horse at Night by Amina Kane I just read. It's just kind of like a journal of her experience reading, and if you really enjoy reading, then I highly recommend it. Then these are books that I really love too, although only some of them I love as much as this collection, like Dialogues in Paradise, Chuangzu maybe. So it's two books on myth, two myth books, one by Karen Armstrong, and the other by Joseph Campbell. Then we have the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, The Woman Warrior by Maxine Hong Kingston, so good. Chuangzu, a collection of strange stories called Strange Tales from a Chinese Studio by Pu Songling, and Dialogues in Paradise by San Shui. San Shui is one of my favorite writers, but oddly, a lot of her books I don't really connect with. Dialogues in Paradise I connect with so well, though. I love it. And I have this Maso bamboo candle from Velaspa. And my Rubik's Cube. This like jelly version. Last time I filmed this, I believe the plant in this corner it was a different peperomia for the one that you saw at the beginning of the video, but a peperomia nonetheless. Now we have a pothos, I think is how you say it. So she has really been growing down, like so healthy, almost too healthy. I love the way it looks, but obviously this becomes less and less practical the healthier my little plant gets. But for now, we're just hanging out. Then we go to the second shelf. These are books that I love, maybe ever so slightly less than these books, but like these books are utter obsession. Especially these books are utter obsession. These are like myth and Chinese literature books, and these are books I really, 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 really feel strongly about. So here's the sequel to The Idiot by Edith Turin. This one's from Kierkegaard. It's called Either or. The collected stories of Amy Hempel in the cemetery where Al Jolson is buried is so good. You can find the PDF online, and I highly recommend reading it. It's like 6 pages long, and it's just like perfection. It's so good. Then In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I Hold a Wolf by the Ears by Laura Vandenberg. Florida by Lauren Groff. This has some elements. It's not explicitly set in Florida, but she's also from Florida, and I don't know. Often my books, I kind of organize them by who I think might like to hang out together. So, and then slightly by color, not in, color-coded or rainbow have Very Cold People by Sarah Manguso, The Third Hotel by Laura Vandenberg, same year. The Outline Trilogy. If you've been on this channel for any amount of time, then you know that I love this trilogy so much. Although I love Second Place a little more. This book is Divine Indelicacy by Amina Kane. Deborah Levy's Hot Milk, also excellent. And I love her little memoir trilogy. I only have one in the hardcover, and the rest are, well, the remaining two are paperback. But Real Estate's my favorite of the three, and actually I think the order is 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So maybe I'll switch those in a second. Should be 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Tessa Mauve is my favorite book by her. Daphne du Maurier's Don't Look Now, Temporary by Hilary Leichter, which is just delightful and unhinged. Fernanda Melchor, Hurricane Season and Paradise, both of which are so heavy and like sumptuous and dark, so dark. Then we have Tove Jansson. These are amazing. And Marina Diaz's Self-Portrait in Green is fantastic. Then, hiding behind this little plant curtain are these books, mostly in translation from Spanish, although these would be from Clarice Lispector, would be in translation from Brazilian Portuguese. So we have The House Guest, Before, The Dangers of Smoking in Bed, Things We Lost in the Fire, excuse me, The Hour of the Star, Her Complete Stories. And we have this very elemental book called Nobody, Nothing, Never. Then Javier Marias, who I think passed last year. He's so talented. My favorite is Tomorrow in the Battle, Think on Me, I think. But A Heart So White has something to do with translation, so I'm into that. And The Infatuations is also super, super good. I would recommend reading anything by him. He's fantastic. Okay. Now these are books that I also really like. Or, you know, if I didn't like a book, I would put it in my local tiny library, probably. Some of these I might one day declutter or unhaul, but for now, I'm keeping them. I do really like them. It's just, you know, if I collect more books that I'm really into, like these ones, then I'll need to make more room kind of thing. But Mrs. March is such a fun Hitchcockian little romp, which makes it sound fun, and it's not fun. It's very like mysterious and moody, but it's so fun. Three Women, fascinating. Took me a while to read this one, and based on what I've heard from friends, I don't think I would like her fiction, but this book is so interesting. If you are into documentaries or learning about people and their stories at all, I don't know, I just found it really interesting. Then Winter in Sokcho, no one is talking about this. So many Olympic exertions, Cursed Bunny, Cursed Bunny, Cursed Bunny. Strangers I Know, Leaving the Atocha Station, Pew, Carnality. Carnality is also super unhinged. Catch the Rabbit. Here's a Patti Smith book, some poetry from John Ashbery, Jane Austen. I had the other two of this like set. There's more than just 4 total, but I had it Sense and Sensibility and Emma as well, and I want to get them back, but they got lost in the mail. Lydia Davis, War and Peace. Good old War and Peace. If you're gonna read it, which I do recommend, it is really good if you're like down for devoting several hours to it. It's so good, but this translation, from what I've read and what I've heard from friends who have studied Russian, this translation is where it's at. And then here are books I plan to read soon, but have not. I think The Dutch House will be next, then maybe The Pumpkin Eater. These are both translated from Spanish, so I don't think it would be hard for me to get through those, and I really want to read them. Whereas Pedro Paramo is like still in the Spanish. This is in Italian, obviously. This is my partner's book, but I really want to read it. Hyper Objects, and then The Memory Police. I somehow have had for a few years, and I love Yoko Ogawa, but I still haven't gotten to it. So, all right, these are more books I really like and probably won't rehome. I don't know why I have these ones more at eye level, because I like these ones slightly more than these, just generally speaking, because actually of these, I really like these two a lot. Really love Leaving the Atocha Station. Carnality was interesting. Pew, so interesting. War and Peace, obviously, love it. I just, I don't know, they're more like, I don't need them at hand for some reason. It's just a feeling thing. It's just based on feeling. But, got some Matrix, so good. She's the only one who could have written this book, I think. It's about a convent of nuns, among other things. It's fascinating. This is such an odd book, and I adore it. Again, only she could have written this book. The End of Days is very cool in the way that it is structured. The Virgins, good read. The Virgin Suicides, also a good read. Told in the plural first person. These books, you know what? These should be with my Spanish books. This author is Mexican, I believe, so I'll move those up there in a moment. Then Jesus' Son, The Crying of Lot 49, Speedboat. This one gets slept on a lot. Like, a lot of people haven't heard of this book. A High Wind in Jamaica. It's about these wealthy kids who get stuck on a pirate ship and start to like take it over. It's so kooky and so good. I'm skipping along here. This book I was obsessed with for a really long time. Still really like it. Love it. Love all of these. These are more atmospheric. These are more like young girl discovering herself and being sort of obsessive, sort of like sinking her claws into something. These two, I don't know if she writes in English or in Spanish. Valeria Luis Sally. I believe she's Mexican as well, so maybe I need to move those. Elena Ferrante. I have read, of course, also The Days of Abandonment and the Neapolitan novels, but they got lost in the mail. And I love the movie The Lost Daughter, so I'm thinking of reading The Lost Daughter soon too. Sprawl. It's a very artistic book about suburban sprawl. So interesting. It's like just like lists of items. Sometimes even it just feels like excess and like smothering kind of safety. So interesting. I love this imprint, Dorothy. Anything from them, so good. The titular story of this collection, so wacky. It's like bats, just bananas. Sally Rooney, of course. Treasure Island by Sarah Levine. Similarly, wacky, wacky, wacky. Then we have some plays by Annie Baker and Assembly. I don't know if I like the Antipodes or John Moore. They're all good. I read the Antipodes last year around this time, and it's about like a writer's room, and they're trying to parse different themes and storylines that they might put in their script, and they're all characters and talking about like myth and monster, and it's just really great. Alright, our candle is still burning, and the last shelf. Before we get into this, I'll say too, I have 1, 2, 3 other places in my home where I keep books. One place has mostly my partner's books. One place is in our bedroom that has shared books, a lot of sci-fi, and a lot of Eve Babbitts. And then in our living room, there's a series of books. Maybe I'll do a different video on that someday because it's a mix of our books, and there are some down there that I would want to show you that I really love, like How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell, Can't Even by Anne Helen Peterson, Weather by Jenny Alfell. I had Department of Speculation, but it got lost in the mail. Some 33 and a Third books, my Martha Graham biography, things like that. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll do like a little addendum. But anyway, here we are on the last shelf. These are books I have not yet read. A lot of hardcovers. I really want to read this, then these probably. But I haven't moved them to my, like TBR sort of pile. I just haven't reached for them yet. So first we're doing Memory Police and all of that, and then we'll get to these. Here's one about the Troubles that I really want to get to as well. Some books from Steven Pinker about linguistics. Some book about Chinese poetic writing, like the Chinese literary sensibility, basically. Biography on Clarice Lispector that my friend sent me. I do like it, but I started it, but I haven't finished it yet. I don't know when I will, but because my friend sent it to me, I'm hanging on to it for now. These I've also started. They're fun little stories. And Edinburgh by Alexander Chee. I just haven't been in the right mood to pick this one up because I think it's quite heavy. But I really want to get to it because I hear just like amazing things about it. Here are some journals for language study, Chinese and Italian. My like life journal, if you will, right now. One that I use for planning ASMR. And these are all my like foreign language books besides Pedro Páramo and Dove mi trovo. So some in Spanish, some in Italian. Racconti Italiani. I want to dig into this new year. And then over here we have some nonfiction. I have more nonfiction elsewhere. Yeah, like a whole shelf, 2, 3 of it. But nonfiction I'm less precious about, and so I don't mind mixing my nonfiction with my partner's books. this is all nonfiction that for whatever reason is very near and dear to me. It's kind of a mishmash though. So dictionary of color combinations, some Zen koans, versions of poetry, such a good book, A Room of One's Own, Portrait of a Marriage. Talked about this in my favorite books video. Interaction of Color, such a good book that it's about visual art, but you can apply it to anything. It's so good. Here's a graphic novel that my friend got me at some kind of zine fair that he went to that I really like. This is about reversible poetry in Chinese. Wild geese returning. The Diary of Anais Nin. I used to have all 7 volumes of it, but they got lost in the mail. So I'll slowly be recollecting those and rereading those. Highly recommend. Couldn't recommend it more. The Argonauts, of course. Death by Landscape by Elvia Wilk, which is just gorgeous. This book, some essays were more relevant to me than others, or more intriguing to me than others, but some of them have really stayed with me in a way where I want to keep thinking about this book. And then Nothing If Not Critical, just a collection of Robert Hughes's art criticism. It's a nice way to start the morning with that book. So I'll just dip in sometimes and look up artists that I don't know or have forgotten about, and just kind of start my morning with something interesting. So that is my bookshelf. I'll show you the view from the floor. We started all the way up there. Thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight. I hope you're doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that's okay too. We are all getting by one step at a time. I'll see you very soon. And until then, good night, good night,